Patrick at Pals, and as you know, we're getting my Super ready to go to Auburn, Indiana for an AACA show. AACA is the Antique Automobile Club of America, and this car went to Hershey, Pennsylvania in 2002 and won a national award. It won a junior and a national in 2002, and in 2003 it won a preservation award. And that's what we're going to do with it in Auburn. We're going after a preservation award. Preservation means that it's basically what it was in 1948. And then we've been invited to go to Bettendorf, Iowa for a national first prize. So we'll see about that. That's in August. But I got the car ready to go. It's a 2,100 mile trip, round trip. So we're going to drive this car 2,000 miles in a period of 7 to 8 days. So what do we do to get it ready? Well, I drive this car regularly. Typically I put anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 miles a year on the car. So it's no stranger to being driven. It's driven almost every day. First thing we did, I had 8-year-old tires, so I put on new tires. These are a bias ply radial made by Coker Tire. They're called an American Classic, and they look like a bias ply tire, but they are a radial. So they got the 3 1/4 inch stripe on them, which is what the car needs. And it's got the pie pan pattern to the tire that makes it look like a bias ply. But they're going to handle a lot better. They're going to steer a lot better. They won't follow the ruts in the road. So that'll be good when you're driving that kind of a distance. The other thing we did was clean and adjust the front and the rear brakes. And that's something you need to do about every 15,000 miles with these cars, is clean and adjust the drum brakes. And there's 4-wheel drum brakes, and of course they're not power assist, they're manual drums, but they stop very well. I drive this car in traffic all the time. You can comfortably cruise this car at 55 miles an hour. It'll go faster, but with a 444 to 1 rear axle, it gets pretty busy under the hood. So I usually keep it at 55 or less. So we repacked the wheel bearings. We cleaned and adjusted the brakes, the front and the rear drums. Put new tires on it. And we checked it out under the hood. And of course, you've got to get your oil changed. I changed the oil on this car every 1,000 miles with non-detergent 30-weight oil. This car wasn't designed to use detergent oil. It was designed to use non-detergent 30 weight, and that's what we use. Now, you notice here we've got a filter. I change the oil every 1,000 miles. Every other oil change, I change the filter, okay? So every 2,000 miles, it gets a new filter. There's your coil. There's your distributor. This was originally a points car. Now it's got a Pertronix ignition on it. Still looks the same, but it makes everything last a little bit longer. You know, you had to tune these cars up about every 10,000 miles in the old days. Now you can go, comfortably 30,000 miles without having to do anything. You've got your oil bath air filter. Okay, so you got to clean that out and put oil in the bottom of it. Get it ready to go. Make sure that the carburetor's ready, that it's not all carboned up or any gunk or varnish on it. Of course, I drive it every day, so it doesn't have that. Then you want to check your hoses and the radiator. Make sure that everything is ready for a distance drive. You want to check your battery. Now, this one's been converted over to 12 volts. Originally, it was a 6-volt car. We converted it over to 12 volts. It makes it easier to start. Accessories work a little bit better. After we got that done, we checked out the lights, and I had a little bit of problems with the lights. I had 3 bulbs that were out in the dash, and Jim fixed that and made that right. And then the capacitor for the turn signal went out. And that's just happenstance. That happens with old cars, parts wear out. So Jim replaced that, and now my turn signals are working. But that happened when we changed the bulbs in the dash. Went out to drive the car and turn signals didn't work. Well, it's because the capacitor had blown out. So now you see all of this polish that's on the car. This is a sealer glaze by Surf City. And you want to, make your car presentable for a show, of course, and protect the finish. This paint's now over 30 years old. And so we put this sealer glaze on the car. And the purpose of the glaze is to make the car shine. The purpose of wax is to protect the finish. So you put the sealer or glaze on the car first, and you want to leave it on the car so that it gets down into the pores of the paint. The more that you fill up the pores of the paint with the polish, the more the paint will reflect light, and that's what gives you your shine. So we're going to leave this on about 8 hours before we take it off, and that's recommended by Surf City that you leave it on at least 8 hours. If you go longer, that's fine. And of course, you can take it off shorter period of time. You just won't get as good a finish as you do if you leave it on. So we'll leave it on for 8 hours. We'll take it off. Then we'll put on wax, pure carnauba wax over the top. And that's to protect the paint. The shine is going to come, the brilliant shine is going to come from the glaze. Okay. So we went through the tires, the brakes. We went through the engine to make sure everything is sound, and then we made sure that all of our electrical connections work properly, and that everything's ready to go. Now, people ask all the time, how are you going to drive a 75-year-old car 2,000 miles? Well, these cars were made to do that. In 1948, when this was a new car, it would take you anywhere you wanted to go, anytime you wanted to go. And it works the same now. The only difference is it's 75 years old. As long as you maintain that car, you can take it anywhere you want to go, anytime you want to go. And if you've got a classic car and you want to drive it every day, and that's what you should do, that's what they're for. They should be used regularly and confidently that you can take it somewhere and have fun. Bring it to pals. See you soon.